Yeah. Touch that. No. I literally didn't touch that. Oh my gosh. I clearly didn't. Oh, thanks.
I was required to identify your family in the Oxford morgue. Your sister was completely recognizable. I can't say the same for your parents.
Careful, Alice. Watch your step, Alice.
Great. Let's restart. I screwed something up there. Oh, that. My fault.
was required to identify your family in the Oxford morgue. Your sister was completely recognizable. I can't say the same for your parents.
Be careful, Alice. Watch your step, Alice.
All those undergraduates waiting for a word from Papa. Might I hold the tea cosy, sir? Might I pour, sir? Bunch of toadies.
I did. I really didn't believe I know this. Screw it. Oh, just barely. So you never would make that. was. Okay.
Threats, promises, and good intentions don't amount to action.
Damaged people feed on the emotions of others, their strengths and weaknesses.
There's no time to waste. There's no time at all. Oh wow. I really should have been doing that a lot sooner. Come, Alice, don't dawdle.
Yeah, yeah.
undiscovered guilty and the wronged innocent share similar fates. Prisons and chains have many forms.
Ah, where it goes. But I get it anyway. That works. Oh, I get it. Okay. I didn't touch it. You know, whatever. There we go. Okay. Oh, for oh. Okay, good. It didn't crash. It just did some random nonsense. Uh, anyway. So this should definitely be the those. That'll work. Okay. Oh god, it didn't. I don't know what it was. That's right.
Saving Wonderland means saving yourself.
Oh, I couldn't tell through the steam that that was spikes. That's annoying. I just don't have eyes. Really off-putting. No! Ugh! No! Oh my god. No! How do I not have enough distance? I should definitely have enough distance. I guess I'm just playing this game. I'm not even trying to very well. I'm just gonna kill her. Oh, there's. Oh, let's see.
The gulf separating effective treatment from quackery is narrower than professional opinion would admit. Likewise, the distance between knowledge and ignorance.
Loaded, just loaded again. That's right. There. Okay, good. All right, good. Good, good, good.
Annihilate what threatens to destroy you.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Yeah. Good.
There's no time to waste. There's no time at all.
Already. Oh, this thing. Lovely.
Camellas don't dawdle.
You already missed the time. I wasn't paying attention. Let's screw that up. I think I could have actually moved the jump anyway, but. Okay, interesting. The big boy. Now. Sure. It literally won't let me do. Oh my god! Stop working on the things I don't care about. Slytherin ruins are the biggest frustration because they just keep getting locked onto when I don't want to. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's my bad. I messed that up. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't even think of it. Honestly. I thought it was weird that it was playing like I was good. It didn't stop to think what that might mean. You damn no! I clearly landed on that thing and then jumped again. But somehow I was doesn't even make sense. Very clearly standing on the thing. Which is no, actually, what in the world is this trash? That was that time that was my fault. That was me rushing because I was frustrated. How does it just rip out? Gosh, with this thing. So frustrated. You wanna go? You wanna go? Where does Uber go? Okay. Lord. Oh, frustrating that such a crap.
The signs of the body's illness or infirmity are obvious compared to those of the diseased mind. And the cures? How and when a broken leg heals is clear. Can one heal a broken mind? How does one know if it's healed?
So weird. Oh no! Fuck! I didn't want to focus on that. Ugh, I'll walk backwards. No! Stop! Don't force me to. It's. Ah! Follow memories one page down, one legend. There we go. This side is less creepy somehow.
Remaking children. Build them up, tear them down, refashion them. Teach them the new, forget the old.
No melody should soothe this outrage.
Mm. I think we're having some texture issues. I'm actually not going to mess with that this time. Normally I would spend the time for that, but it's weird. Oh, okay, maybe it's not that. So we'll go. Alright. There we go. Oh, that's good. Oh, okay, it's okay. Oh my gosh, just such confusion. Oh no! Don't! Oh, sorry. No! I hate you so much. Oh my gosh. Something is wrong with this as it stands right now. What in the what? I can't tell what's happening because I don't know what's going on with this. Wait. What did I go on? So confused. Let's get moving. There we go.
Excellent.
Yep. Lovely. Ah! Whee! Whee! Oh, that's annoying.
I had a role in my family's demise, but I did not start the fire. Centaurs don't live in Oxford, but a certain doctor did. I saw him, a preening undergraduate. Now I remember him. That key belongs to Lizzie's room.
It's been, even if I hadn't played this before, it's like the implications are incredibly obvious for the entire, pretty much the entire game leading up to this. So.
My father would wish that you hold your tears, girls. He lived a long life, and as the poet says, like a clock worn out with eating time, the wheels of weary life at last stood still.
See ya.
I'm no toy. He wanted me to do things I didn't want to do.
Searching for them. Okay. Sometimes it sounds like story. That's what? Sometimes it sounds like the story of the pig sounds, even though I know there aren't anymore. It's... Alright, we're about to enter there is monstrosity.
Am I not the most wretched and selfish of fortune's fools? Oblivious, I live in a training ground for prostitutes. My mentor is an abuser and purveyor. I've been complicit with my sister's murderer and the killer of my family as he corrupted my mind. I sought relief from my pain and you turned me away from the truth.
You are almost there, almost free from what you fear. You could have been cured. You could have forgotten.
Abandon the memory of my family.
They are dead, and you should be too.
You misbegotten abomination. Murderer, you blood-sucking parasite. The damage you've done to children. The abuse.
I provide a service. In the great and awful metropolis, appetites of all sorts must be gratified.
My family, my mind, the infernal train.
The train is your invention, your defense. I merely set its schedule and itinerary. The train is coming with its shiny cars, with comfy seats, wheels of stars. So hush, my little ones, have no fear. The man in the moon is the engineer.
I'll stop that train if it's the last thing I do.
As you wish, it will be. You're lost, and where your body is, your mind will follow. Perhaps it's already there.
Fine. Just another minute. Observing the aesthetic for a few moments more before all the horror begins again.
You oozing sore of depravity! Children wearing their names around their necks as if they're breeding livestock!
A declaration of their pedigree. You could use one. They're proud to display their provenance.
You brute! They can't remember who they are or where they're from. How many minds have you twisted into forgetfulness?
Not enough. Yours would have been a triumph. Still, you're an insane wreck. My work is done.
Hatter, I must stop this infernal train and the evil force that drives it.
Everything's a nail, is it, Miss Hammerhead? First it was all search, freighted with fear and fragmented memories. Now it's the train. Never time for tea. While your brain's on holiday, we're ruined. Now we're all mad here, and that's a good excuse for going to hell in a teapot, but not for forgetting what your senses saw. Forgetting is just forgetting, except when it's not. Then they call it something else. I'd like to forget what you did. I've tried, but I can't.
You've used me and abused me, but you will not destroy me.
No, the damage is done. The old Alice and her Wonderland retreat are demolished. You can't even recognize what's happened, and you're powerless to change it or move against me. I've made certain of that.
Come to receive your punishment, then?
I know I'm guilty of something, but punishment never suits the victims of the crime.
Abuse is a crime the strong visit on the weak. And you're right, abusers are insufficiently punished for the damage they do. Those who witness abuse without seeking retribution for the harmed pay a penalty. Your own pain mitigates your failure to act earlier, but you may not yet have paid enough for witnessing the pain of others.
what kind of thing you can do.
You corrupted my memories, but you failed to make me forget.
I could have made you into a tasty bit. Clients out the door waiting for a piece from a raving, delusional beauty with no memory of the past or no sense of the future. But you wouldn't forget. You insisted on holding on to your fantasies. You're mad, like your sister.
Don't speak of her. You didn't know her.
Your sister was a tease, pretended to despise me. She got what she wanted in the end.
My Lizzie, what is this train's destination?
Madness and destruction. You shouldn't ask questions you know the answer to. It's not polite. And that noise wasn't Lizzie talking in her sleep.
Oh, no. Oh, poor Lizzie.
And there are no centaurs in Oxford. Make your survival mean something, or we are all doomed!
Hide in your shell. The past must be paid for.
Did not see what was happening. Could you kill a fly?
Ah. Oh my gosh. There we go. I think I'm gonna go a little more same thing. If they were gonna go with the Dollmaker motif, I think it would have been a little more interesting if they did something more with the strings instead of having them basically not do anything. They just kind of exist.
Friend of your shadow. Absurd pugilist.
Good, because I almost totally screwed that up.
I'll see you charged. In prison, some half-wit bruiser will make you his sweetheart, and then you'll hang.
Indeed. A hysterical woman, former lunatic, roaring outrageous accusations against a respectable social architect and scientist. My God, Alice, who would believe you? I scarcely believe it myself.
You, monstrous creature. Such evil will be punished.
By whom? By what? Psychotic, silly bitch. Your madness will be punished. Now leave. I'm expecting your replacement.
Back in Wonderland proper. What the decayed monstrosity it was.
Alice, we can't go home again. No surprise, really. Only a very few find the way. and most of them don't recognize it when they do. Delusions, too, die hard. Only the savage regard the endurance of pain as the measure of worth. Forgetting pain is convenient, remembering it agonizing. But recovering the truth is worth the suffering, and our wonderland, though damaged, is safe in memory for now.
And Mickey. Oh, ugh. I hope someday. I hope someday they do get it funded in like a development studio and everything to do Alice Asylum because like the concept Bible for that game looks incredible, and I would love to see the final product out of that. That would be fantastic. I'd love to see a remaster of the original, frankly. I'd love to see them go back and remake American McGee's Alice. Because as fun as that game is in concept, by today's standards, it's nearly unplayable. All right, I think that's it. I was gonna try and watch them all, but they just didn't let me. Okay, thanks. Okay, I think she goes. I'm just gonna watch some of these other ones.
Now,
Alright. So interesting. Let's move that away. Yeah. It would be nice if the teapot training was a little more connected. Very interesting stuff. Mhm. I like the cutout look of this. That's very neat looking. This is clearly like later stage concept art as well. We ran. Alright. Actual ship. Neat. No context for what's happening, but it looks neat. Oh, goldfish bowl. That's definitely not in the. And it's in the. Oh, and it's in the cemetery area. I like that. Yeah, so it's the drowned ships, and then like all the goldfish that ever got flesh. I like that. It would have been nice if there was a swimming component, but I very much understand why they wouldn't want to do that. Because Lord Almighty, would that get real complicated real quick. You basically have to design a whole new control set for a very small portion of the game. Okay. That would be interesting. If she had been like an origami, it would be interesting if like her kind of design style changed for every world. That would get. That would certainly get complicated though, pretty quickly. So pretty. It's so pretty in so many places and so haunting in so many other places. And there's so much overlap between the two as well. I don't think there was ever one of those. Interesting. Cherry blossom, that's great. This kind of doesn't appear to be. I assume this is the Origami Forest area, but it's so dissimilar. It's hard to necessarily say that. Caterpillar's cocoon. Yep. That would. I was hoping they were going to do more with the hookah smoke. I think that's a very fun premise, and I think they could have done a lot more with it. Because where they used it, it basically just brought up steam vents, which is interesting enough, I guess. Or like ethereal platforms and that kind of thing, I think would have been really interesting. There we go. That's I like the way it's like vines that have grown into him in the game, though. I appreciate like the asylum straps. I think the tendrils and the vines in the game work a little better because it's not the asylum that's holding him; it's the queen holding him, trying to hold Wonderland together, kind of a little bit. Yeah, I get it. I also understand why they ended up going with like sheer drop him in nothing, and that's kind of what they did with all of the levels, except for a couple of areas. It's beautiful. Yeah, with the branches and the so good. I like it. She looks a little too frail in that image for my liking. It's close. It's close to what we got, but it's just a little. She looks a little weak. Unclear what I'm actually saying here. Just very pretty. It would have been cool if there'd been a fight against the queen, but I understand. I definitely this one I understand a lot more why they didn't do that than why they didn't do it with the mech with the March Hare and the Dormouse. That could have definitely been a boss fight. This, I fully understand why they didn't want to do that here, because it's very much, this bit is very much her coming to terms with what's actually happening and how it's the breakdown of her mind that's destroying Wonderland, and how she needs to come to terms with the different parts of her mind to come back to a balance. I get that. No. Spikes would have been neat. That would have been neat. Okay. Alright. That seems to be like a whole different style, really. I don't think it fits very well. If the distorted version of her actual house had been one of the levels, I think that could have played really well. It's very interesting. I really like the look of that. It's hard to say exactly what it's intended to be. You can tell it's fans are blowing it through the air, and I get that. I like the look of that. Yeah, all the dollhouses. As the symbolism gets more and more direct. Evil. Just so fucking evil. He's fucking angry. That looks cool as fuck. I think we kind of saw that a little bit because it's like the whole thing is a church, more like a miles long church, basically, with like the stained glass windows and everything. I think it's very, very cool. Yeah, I think that's. I think they're unfortunately a little unrealized in the game. You don't get to see nearly as much of them as it seems like you kind of should, but I get it. Don't know who that's supposed to be. It's a stag beetle, but we never met that character, so I don't have any point of reference. Yeah. And then you get like the science displays on the walls and stuff. Everything. Oh. We didn't get very much of this aesthetic. There's a little bit, but I think the threads interwoven through everything would have helped really play to the doll maker, which is such a huge part of that end game. I think it would have been interesting to see that kind of as a through line for the whole game. Like, you notice like threads and stitching in the corners of things in earlier levels, and it gets gradually more pronounced as the game goes on until you get to the very end where it's everywhere. The strings are just. Oh, that's the end of that. Very cool stuff. Notes extracted from the case book of Hieronymus Q. Wilson, M.D., Rutledge Asylum. On November 5th, 1863, Alice Little was severely burned in the fire that destroyed her family home in Oxford and took the lives of her parents and her older sister Lizzie. While the girl's seared skin gradually healed during a year of hospitalization, the trauma caused by her family's horrific demise deepened. The orphan's condition swung from comatose to uncontrollably hysterical and back in the course of a given hour. Learned medical opinion deemed her a danger to herself and an indefinite term of institutional confinement was ordered. At her preliminary examination at Rutledge on November 11th, 1864, Alice presented as deaf, dumb, and blind to stimulation. She seemed, in the brutal expression of the practice, in training for the coffin. Only her age saved her from immediate assignment to the notorious Bedlam catacombs. Despite insensible passivity, preternatural quietness, and evident dementia, a course of treatment was prescribed. During the first 6 months of 1865, she was subjected to the best contemporary remedies, without result. Cold plaster sessions and bloodletting were ineffective. And unproductive. Applications of experimental shock apparatus useless. Likewise, massive doses of laudanum in a desperate toss, restraints, including a straitjacket, solitary confinement, sensory deprivation, confiscation of her toy rabbit, and cancellation of afternoon tea were tried, and failed completely. She would not respond. She did not resist treatment in any way or in any way react to it. She simply ignored it. She shut down completely and shut out the world. Shortly after the diagnosis of demented was confirmed, she fell into a comatose state. Despite her mental infirmity, she appeared physically fit. Staff remained hopeful, not to say optimistic, that she would regain her balance. Her bodily functions were reasonably attended to, but there were pitifully few signs of recovery. Then, in the autumn of 1873, after 8 years of fitful sleep, Alice spoke by drawing. Her first picture was of an alarming cat. But only bouts of angry, incomprehensible screaming and hysterical sobbing followed the dubious opening of communication. She became intermittingly convulsive and had to be sedated frequently. From time to time, various medicinal preparations and chemical potions were forcibly administered to little effect, and she required more than verbal encouragement to eat. Something that did look like progress occurred in November of that year. While her inarticulate mutterings and screams continued, she responded, if not appropriately, at least comprehendibly, to her surroundings. When grossly insulted by ward orderlies, the superintendent's imbecilic nephews, Alice, without warning, scarred one of the twins with her furious attack. She handled her spoon like a knife, and made the other bleed like a stuffed pig. But then, she turned the makeshift weapon on her own wrists. Fortunately, staff prevented her from doing terrible physical damage to herself, but she regressed to her previous state. Days of silence, sometimes sketching fantastical scenes and characters, spouting senseless poetry, then incomprehensible raving, catatonic trances, and unintelligible shouts and groans. Suddenly, in spring of this year, there was a change. She began to speak. Civil, then vulgar, declarative, then cryptic speech, in and out of her chaotic, violent, deranged, and terrifying dream world. But the periods of lucidity grew longer. She became confidential. She shared some of her sadness, her grief over the loss of her family and herself. But most often she droned on and on about fantastical visions. These delusions had no reality, of course, but conversation makes a connection with the world. This was a significant development. Cogent, but often disconnected, and to me meaningless, talk about Wonderland, tea parties, and fungiferous forest, boojums, jack bombs, snarks, demon dice, and the dastardly Red Queen was, nonetheless, encouraging. Though her moods ran the gamut from despondent gloom to vicious anger to confident calm, this was a positive prospect. But the emergence of a normal Alice, a cured Alice, was not to be. Throughout the summer and into the autumn, she seemed to vacillate between fantasy and reality. By October, my own health failing, I recognized I had done everything I was capable of doing for her. After a decade of treatment, having addressed her psychic condition with the full array of our age's therapies, she had emerged from her catatonia, but we didn't know why. I once thought that the drug regimen had been effective. Now I vigorously doubt it. Reunification with her childhood toy? It turns out the rabbit was a stand-in for the original, which disappeared years ago. Something I said? She did nothing at my command, instruction, entreaty, or request. To the extent she was cured, I believe, cured herself. As she appeared more or less stable, though plagued by hallucinations that frustrated more than frightened her, I succumbed to the superintendent's entreaties. As further cure seemed doubtful, further confinement was deemed a waste of everyone's time. Lacking family and friends, but possessed of a small inheritance, she left Rutledge in November, depressed, but committed to the struggle for her sanity. Nurse Witless found her a situation with Dr. Bumby, and Alice was released to his care at the Houndsditch Home and Refuge for Wayward Youth in the East End. I wish them both well. All right. The founder of the Houndsditch Home and Refuge for the Wayward Youth is my landlord, employer, and therapist. A rising star in the philanthropic community, he serves the East End's vast, deprived juvenile population. His mantra is, I'm winning the war against depravity, misery, and degradation by training my unfortunate patients to forget their pasts. While modesty is not amongst his attributes, he does important work. Before being sacked from Rutledge Asylum, she was a night nurse on my ward. She mistakenly imagines we're friends on that account. Her addiction to gin has forced her to become a dog's body for a variety of East End practitioners. No errand is too menial or beneath her dignity. Her wages can't support her need to be constantly inebriated. Not sure how she supplements her income, but I'd rather not think about it. An unnatural and hostile combination of ruined mechanical parts vomits pollution and slashes through the muck it dispenses. A mindless industrial disease, it oozes grease and organic slime, and wields a dangerous weapon. Its unseemly sound and noisome stench completes its menacing aura. An awful head adds to its revolting appearance. What passed for fauna in the Hatter's domain resembled winged crossbow bullets. That doesn't even make sense. They're not crossbow. What? Alright, whatever. They set in the now wrecked machinery, of which they're very protective. They become fractious when they're disturbed, and for dumb creatures, they're annoyingly resourceful. The erstwhile guardians of the domain appear to be armed with outsized versions of Hatter's household cutlery. Hatter was never particularly discriminating in his guest list, but I had never imagined he had giants for tea. Like many longtime retainers, their loyalty has outlasted their usefulness and their sense. Still, this old guard can be dangerous. Ruined and repulsive, this reckless waste of protoplasm has as much in common with maggots and leeches as it does with slimy garden slugs. Secretive by nature, surprisingly aggressive when cornered. These ornately crafted beasts, once the pride of Hatter's table, seem destined for scrap. Understandably, they're shirty, unsociable, and bloody angry, and dangerous. Because the eye is obviously vulnerable, they fire scalding projectiles afar, but they're not cowards. A more perilous version of the insidious ruin, every vile and depraved feature of the former has evolved and become more loathsome, foul, and hazardous in the latter. Who could have imagined it? I suppose I could admit he's my alter ego, perfectly willing to give voice to the doubts and fears I'm unable to express. He's usually not courageous enough to demand a terribly rash risk of me. By turns cynical, sarcastic, distant, philosophical, flip and earnest, he can render valuable service, as long as he can keep himself out of harm's way. I know he means to help me, but he is, after all, a cat, and they're not known for altruism. To say I'd follow this demanding creature anywhere might be a romantic exaggeration. We have a history, and the list of places he's led me is long, and outcomes have not always been happy. A frantic, harried creature, he's manic and occasionally aggressive. The Queen of Hearts has an exceptionally unattractive cousin. Well, let's say ugly, and move on. She once behaved rudely to me, and I had to turn her around, as it were. Now her caring assistance feels threatening. I prefer her old self. Then I knew what I was dealing with. Once, there was always a time for tea at the Hatter's place. Wacky they were, all in good fun. Things turned bad when he joined the Queen's service. He received a serious reprimand. Now, his undernourished physique is in parts, and his crafted mechanical obsessions seem hopeless wreckage. Despite his comeuppance, he's still a bit of a blowhard, but not evil, I think. The Hatter's erstwhile tea-time companion has somehow turned the tables on his former host. Hare is mad, of course. but he's not a lunatic. At least I don't think so, despite his menacing palaver. He just seems unnaturally fixated on keeping the Hatter down, and making himself a bloody nuisance to me. Dormy is still sleepy, cynical, and stupid. A martinet to the March Hare. Imagine how far down the food chain a creature must fall before securing that august position. I'd say his new role as troublemaker has gone to his head, but that would presume he had a brain. Professor Swan's claims concerning incandescent lighting signal the end of an era for gas lamps and candles, and a frightening and insupportable prospect. Hardly more interesting than a cuckoo and a clock, let alone a Talos or a Pandora. But then, I'm not Hephaestus. This lovely white feline reminded me of Snowdrop, Dinah's rambunctious kitten. I try not to think of her now. She'd be an old lady now. She'd be an old lady now, if she's alive. The degraded vale was overpopulated with disgusting creatures, so I dismissed this spiky cephalopod. He feeds on his own regurgitated bile. As if the creature hadn't suffered enough, I imagined the extinct bird kitted out like the others in Hatter's mad and mechanized realm. His appearance, formal, and intelligence, honest, were not required for this adventure. He's still a good frog. The mock turtle regarded this creature as a threat. He has so little self-confidence. It would have been cruel to bring the bird into the mix. This benign being was to keep me company in the Vale of Tears, but the changes there would not have been to his liking. Pigs, humans, and ravenous macaques all contributed to the extinction of the dodo and its native Mauritius. The very strange bird was once considered a myth, but Clark's reports justified Papa's belief that someone or something slated to go the way of the dodo was much more than a rhetorical flourish. Always a substantial and independent woman, Nanny taught French and music to Lizzie and me. Disastrous choices in companionship, penury, and an iron-hard sense of pride have led her to a life of not quite squalid prostitution. From her digs at the Mangled Mermaid, she manages a string of professional women in the streets. She visited me several times at Rutledge. A bullying, bad-tempered, congenital criminal. He's built a heinous career on the labor of desperate women. Once Nan Sharp's procurer and self-appointed protector, he runs his sordid trade out of the Mangled Mermaid. Sightless eyes do not inhibit this vile predator from ruling the tundra. Living flesh is no less at risk than carrion. While his parts seem mismatched, his antennae provide protection, and his teeth are lethally efficient. Sailors are rightly terrified by sharks. The voracious apex predators are notorious for their unpredictable temperaments and indiscriminate appetites, but only would, if it could, would fear these creatures. Self-made from ruined privateers, clippers, and ships of the line, they consume wood to keep body and soul together. I wish they'd eat one another. Expertly crafted figureheads, mute but proud emblems that once graced this great ship's prow, and furious with their sunken fate. Rather than suffer in silence, they wail their own siren songs and bring down other ships with the anchors, chains, and other ballast they've collected. Well armed with great size and impregnable carapace and self-declared honorable mission, this noble crustacean is a formidable one. One may only hope it has a soft underbelly. Poor souls are eternally conflicted. Necessity sent them out to sea. The economy depends on them, but they do not profit. Reluctant to sign up to a 2-year voyage, they are shanghaied. Complain about anything. They are lashed and put on short rations. They are even discouraged from learning how to swim. They trust none but themselves. The Shades do likewise. An infinitely more powerful and undeniably more disgusting manifestation of the menacing ruin. What was formerly foul and detestable is heinous, even monstrous here. The ruin seems relentless. It just keeps getting worse. The former master of the railroad is kind, but self-absorbed, weepy and fatalistic, with a melancholic disposition. He talks too much. He's not clever, but he thinks he might be, if he could just summon up the energy to try. This distinctive, sententious master of the malaprop lacks a scintilla of skill in the eponymous trade. Wouldn't know a hammer from a handsaw, appears to have appointed himself lord of the theatrical universe. Given his subjects, I don't suspect there was much resistance. If observation is a judge, he's not missed a meal in his life. Pigs at a trough have more dignity. A big, hungry creature, with nothing on his mind except his outsized appetite and self-proclaimed reputation as a great sesame. Keeping children amused is a priority of indulgent parents the world over. Lucky children. But these two have more on their minds than the family's entertainment. They're at odds with the opinions of the carpenter, his character, his creation, and his role, for protecting them from corruption. I suppose I'll have to test their credibility. Here. The carpenter sent me to collect a script from this Glaswegian lush. He's angry about something, but not nasty. Overfond of his own opinion, but a decent sense of play, with some outstanding physical skills, I suspect, if he's ever so good. Divas from the Covent Garden to La Scala have jitters before a performance. Expressed as vital, unsatisfiable needs, they preemptively excuse things going bad. By such, the talent tries to insulate itself from failure, which is much more often imagined than real. No excuse, however, will deflect the condemnation deserved by this tone-deaf, talentless, time-serving performer. Without a script, this pearlless theatrical dunce must rely on mangled cliches as a substitute for sensible speech. Actors seem to often forget how to speak spontaneously in their own voices. Not sure I ever met this person. Like many discredited or discarded politicians, the mayor seems sufficiently deluded that he refuses to accept rejection as a sign of rejection. You know that denial is a dangerous thing. I don't always behave as if I know. Sometimes the treasures you seek are just out of reach, evading your grasp as if they have a mind of their own. Despite grand and self-serving claims to being the embodiment of understrained brutality, mystery, and fear, this poor fellow never even rose to the level of abominable. Papa's copy of Henry Bates' Amazon Adventures was dog-eared when I found it. The illustrations were thrilling, a school of vicious man-eaters. Imagine. Formerly an Oxford magistrate and my father's solicitor, he's the executor of our family's estate, most of which he claims was consumed by my treatment at Rutledge Asylum. An awkward, confirmed bachelor. Radcliffe's parents... Radcliffe's parents, after foreign office postings in Tokyo, Shanghai, perished in the Sepoy Rebellion. He keeps mementos of their lives in the Orient. He's fussy and secretive, but I have little idea what he might be trying to conceal. That's punctuated badly. Jeez. The mute has had a sufficiently melancholic face and disposition to suit any funeral, but his profession pointed in me and pointed in... What? I think it's supposed to say pointed me in unproductive directions, and I needed to ignore him. Ravagers, despoilers, and murderers. These self-proclaimed samurai have corrupted the blameless and the defenseless origami ant way of life. It's a cruel life. They've violated the philosophy of that noble warrior class, Bushido. They're merely expert killers who have expropriated the weapons of their namesake: sword, shield, and longbow. Unlike the samurai, they protect nothing, are loyal to nothing, and have no honor. While not terribly clever, strong, or dangerous, there's a seemingly endless supply of soldiers available to support the samurai's mayhem. They reminded me of the grubs. They're unpleasantly alike. Though nearly immobile, I'd argue that this creature's signature maneuver is quite enough to terrify a hardened pyromaniac. He uses a healthy fear of fire as an additional weapon. Though each of the samurai wasps appear to act on their own authority, some fraction of them seem to be of higher rank. More skill with their weapons may give them higher standing in their diseased society. They may give orders to the others. They are, of course, equally responsible, perhaps more so. Another arrow in this abomination's bulging quiver of mayhem. It moves faster, it's bigger, and it can fly. What's next? Impregnability? Immortality? Who dreamed this up? Despite his questionable habits, his uncongenital advice, stern, prickly manner, and an aura of portentous mystery, this wise creature is my personal, directly communicative Delphic oracle. It's not always easy to guess what he means. They share labor and prize communications. They are socially sophisticated, resourceful, and industrious. And their society's health, its very existence, is dependent on the kindness of strangers. Their soldier class is virtually useless. Against hostile strangers. The impotent must make terrible bargains. Knowledge gathered from experience is often insufficient to forestall tragic consequences. These elders seem to know what must be done to avert disaster, but they are unable to do it. Few societies properly value their contemplative, artistic, or spiritual members. Action, of nearly any description, with nearly any outcome, is disproportionately valued, even by them. I don't think I even saw him. Okay. Well, he did sit on a wall, and he fell off, etc. Fancied himself a kind of authority figure, but acted more like security guard at market stall, and in fact, couldn't secure his belt. She who must be obeyed and continuously fed, evidently. All these so-called samurai in service and sacrifice, so she can dine sumptuously. Royalty shares some common traits, irrespective of species. I don't remember seeing this. I literally don't think we interacted with this. I'm so confused. Quite possibly the largest frog I've ever seen, although maybe that was because I was shrunk by the caterpillar's smoke. Solving his indigestion nearly gave me an upset stomach as well. Typical Bobby. By the book, what's all this then nonsense? Not vicious, not cruel, just not very imaginative or sympathetic. I suppose I don't encourage much. Without weapons, the Queen's reckless guards aren't much more than fodder in a fight. They were never really good with their hands, but this current bout of clawing demands caution. There are so many of them, and they're eager to give up their lives. Even dead, their corpora delecti and remnants to go to common. Okay. The wicked staff they carry makes them dangerous, but ponderous. Still, were their weapon to hit its target. This, oh my gosh, some of these things are sentenced so badly. Were their weapon to hit its target, they wouldn't need speed to deliver the coup de grace. With less intelligence and imagination than a wind-up toy, this brute does the bidding of the Queen. The creature, its orders out of date, is certain to fall hard. But sorry. But until then, he's so much more than a heartache. Amiable, courageous, and a bit befuddled, a bit pedantic. Oh my gosh. This is so... These sentences are structured so badly. Amiable, courageous, a bit befuddled, a bit pedantic, loyal, not especially competent. Reminds me of Papa. Jesus. After numerous challenges and defeats, she still shows an ungovernable passion. Blind and aimless fury. She's still a force in Wonderland, even though her desires for unquestionable authority and adherence to her rules have been defeated. She is still power-mad, irrational, and irresponsible. I think it means to say she is still a power-mad, irrational, and irresponsible hypocrite. But she's part of me, and not destructible for cause. Yeah. Papa's chessmen were nearly friends. We're nearly friends to a solitary child. Mr. Ratcliffe's outsized, angry, and servile pieces poisoned that pleasant memory. Had a reputation as a capable and innovative physician, but to me, his questions always seemed intrusive, his prodding ill-conceived, his practices dubious at best. I don't think he meant me harm, but it was a great disappointment to him. A feeble-minded, mean-spirited toady, like many of her ilk, barely suited for emptying bedpans and mopping up vomit. She was no friend to me. The superintendent's repulsive nephews are cruel by disposition and training. Like all bullies, they're potentially dangerous. Fortunately, they're dumb as rocks. The female of the species, so to speak, is equally objectionable. The depraved maker played no favorites. Her voluminous clothing appears to conceal more than her body would demand. To construct a flying, vomiting killing machine in the guise of a four-legged female infant is certainly proof of a diseased mind, if more proof were needed. The heinous criminal assumed the benign title of a decent craftsman to deceive the world, and perhaps himself. The lie must be exposed, the truth will out, or I will perish. Once the hapless tools of my nemesis, these mistreated, insulted, and long-suffering juveniles have lost sight and all hope of returning to normal. We know them better than I'd like, and not as well as I should. If the metaphor has it right, that in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed are kings, there's certainly an analog among the insane children. But whether their king has assumed her role by virtue of being less insane is debatable. When did we see some of these things? It's hardly surprising this fellow couldn't pass muster. He showed himself a timid warrior, and unfit for duty, more exacting than watching smoke rise. Not surprisingly, this jerry-built, nailed-together malevolent automaton, masquerading as a child, violates every mother's wise admonition. Her injunction, don't play with scissors, would fall on deaf ears, if he had any. He cares nothing for sense. He doesn't have any of that, either. I wish I had a hammer. I mean, he did. Right. This grotesque aberration of nature seemed to have already been incapacitated before I arrived. Perhaps turned on and made a mockery of by its fellow abominations? A tragedy that such lovely ears should be wasted on such a pitiful face. Okay, that's... Some of these are just confusing. Some of these don't seem to make any sense. Because they seem to be... I seem to have not come across some of these. It's just confusing.
A flower's purpose is simple and immutable. The rail, some, grave, keep trying. What Nurse Witless said was, the fire whooshed in, lit her up like the guy on Cracker Night. No one knows how she survived except Alice, and she's stumm, remember? Flush the unpleasant from your mind, Alice. Lovers often exchange a lock of hair to symbolize their vows. The human heart is opened by a vast assortment of keys. Light? Light is useless. Balance is the golden mean of all things. Everything has a season, Alice. A flower blooms and fades away. Memories too. Balance is the golden mean of all things, Alice. Between light and dark. Between disease and health. Or even between wrong and right.
No, there's not a balance between these.
Damaged people feed on the emotions of others, Alice. Their strengths and... The proofs are legion. Every creature has a purpose. It is my sacred duty to... Every child has a purpose. It's remaking children. Build them up, tear them down, refashion them. Teach them the new, forget the old.
You're part frog, Alice, I swear. You jump so well.
Oops. We'll do that now, but...
The industry thrives on suffering, not ordinary catastrophe. Whoever the conflagration, I do lovely. I was required to the undiscovered guilty and the wronged innocent share.
Finish your soup. Everyone knows the mischief began among your fathers. Chris Witless never saw a bottle of gin she couldn't empty in an hour. If you spent as much time... Radcliffe asked me... Every picture tells a story. It's well known that... Every...
Look how small she's become. Flight. I was... It's been... Epidemic. Pets of... She has... Games. Food. As the signs of the body's illness are...
It could have happened that way. And so as born Dr. Wilson's not. There's a tool for every task. If you leap from that table again, Alice, I'll expire. You're 2 times too reckless, my girl.
Amanita muscaria, Alice, is merely a stinky toadstool.
I'll never have more fun alone than when I rode the big slide in Hyde Park.
Lizzie, remember when a burst of steam blew your dress up around your neck? Just outside Harrods.
My heart is open, Alice. Never closed.
Bricks are rocks, Alice. A brick house, like Gibraltar, is impervious to fire, weather, and the indecent...
We'll all roast in our beds, Alice, for the sake of your father's unnatural
With gas laid on, Alice, we'll go to Brighton on what we save on beeswax, candles and oil. Remember, Alice, don't curse the darkness or the cold when you're in the library at night.
Cover its cage and the canary goes to sleep, Alice. Out like a snuffed candle. Sleeps the sleep of the just. Like Mama and Papa. After... Papa, your enthusiasm for photography makes the library smell like rotted fruit. And I'm sad.
Whoever said there is no book so bad but something good may be found in it never read Martin Farquhar Tupper's proverbial philosophy.
I'm pleased you love my sea creatures, Alice. Photographs are a kind of imitation. A great painter captures a true likeness. The camera helps an amateur come close.
Most theatricals and gaffs are unsuitable.
Whoever destroys a soul...
I've smoked a cigarette, Alice. Poor Dodgson is a pathetic sailor and an even worse captain.
We'll keep just the one lamp, Alice, as a nightlight, but it stays in the upstairs. Music soothes the savage in us, Alice. Practice.
When Papa grounded me, I climbed down the trellis. The tree branch makes a bridge, and it's not much of a drop. Keep our secret, Alice, or we're not sisters.
Fire, Alice! Fire!
Save yourself! Wake up, Lizzie! Lizzie! Open the door!
The key, Lizzie! Unlock the door! You'll burn!
Regrettably, the creature has to die for its image to be properly captured.
Claimed I'd stolen his heart. Trifling with his affections. Creepy sod. Touching me. Told Papa to never invite him to tea again.
No beer. A weapon's intended...
A locked room is little more than a cage. A prison by another name. I despise concealment of any kind. Help us, Alice! Save us, Alice! Don't leave us...
That's clearly this one's clearly a fake memory. Its placement confuses me in this.
Once the bounder followed me into the ladies at Waterloo Station. I had to call the attendant. His hand was slimy, Alice, like an eel from the Isis. And his name won't help. Bumby. If he ever qualifies, his bedside manner will require improvement.
You're not a cat, my dear.
All those undergraduates waiting for a word from Papa. Might I hold the tea cosy, sir? Might I pour, sir?
My father would wish that you hold your tears, girls. He lived a long life, and as the poet...
I'm no toy. He wanted me to do things I didn't want to do.
Interesting. no. Oops, sorry. We're supposed to be. There we go. Yeah. Oh, it's so nice. Ugh, so nice. Yep, I think. Ugh. I think we will end there for right now. We're gonna do some food or something, and then I'll come back and probably stream a little more. Yeah, is this not? All right. Well, I think I'm gonna end the stream there, and we'll see what's up. Bye.